What up, Pittsburgh Steel fans? Welcome to another episode of Steelers Touching Under with some breaking news around Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has said he will be fit to play today. That is really exciting for the Steelers. Does it solve their QB problem? We'll get to that in a little bit. But Matt Canada was talking about the Kenny Pickett said he was right to go. Matt Canada said that they've got confidence in Kenny to tell him whether he'll be able to play or not. He said you all saw him on the sideline; he was throwing the football, which is interesting because on our show that we on Mad Monday show this week, I said to Mark, "Do you think they might have held Kenny Pickett back because they knew they had the Thursday night game?" Now, I'm not saying they did because if they were in a position to win that game, they would have brought him back. But I wonder if there was an extra degree of caution or think about the fact you've got a short turnaround. I do find that very interesting. I don't think it solves the quarterback number 2 problem between Trubisky and Mason Rudolph. Trubisky's not the guy, in my opinion, and what I think is many opinion of Steel fans out there. Mason Rudolph is that guy. So hopefully there can actually be a proper practice battle between those two guys because Mitch is not there to save the Steelers when Kenny Pickett goes down. That's abundantly clear. But also on the injury front, we had a number of players that were questionable coming out of the game this week. Now, Minkah Fitzpatrick, interestingly, was Mike Tomlin was pretty affirmative that he was not playing on Thursday night. He did not practice in Monday. His injury is hamstring. You've got to be careful about loading. He's not actually technically listed as out just yet. That being said, if Mike Tomlin said that in a press conference with that turnaround, the risk to Minka, I just don't think he's going to be out. But Kazi with a hand injury was limited. McFarland was limited. We're going to talk about him. Levi Wallace was limited. Cameron Hayward was limited, so I don't know if he'll be back in time. They're probably better to save him, but let's see how that goes. But it would be great to have Hayward pressuring the rookie Will Levis, who had a big week last week with the 3 touchdowns to DeAndre Hopkins and 4 touchdowns overall. But Minkah, Levi, Kazi are all on that list, and that's interesting because it means the Steelers' secondary and defensive backs, particularly who to play in that secondary, who have not been performing well this season, have challenges there in being fit. Now, we've seen defensive, I've been very critical on our shows about the Steelers' defensive backs and the secondary play this season because it has cost the Steelers dearly. It has put teams into winning field positions, the ability to score into positions where they can score a lot of points. However, we've seen at least 2 or 3 of them on the injury report every single week. And so it's pretty hard to play well when you're playing through injury. We all know that. Every team does it. You've got to deal with that. But the volume and frequency together of the Steelers' defensive backs on the injury reports says to me that if they can just get a bit of health and a bit of consistency, things might improve there. And this defense will get even better, believe it or not. And particularly, obviously, when you bring back Cameron Hayward, that would be the case. But yeah, breaking news in that Kenny Pickett will be back this week for the Tennesse Titans, all things being equal. They did leave a little wriggle room, though, for him not to play. If he didn't feel right going to game time, that would be any player. So I don't really deeply buy into that. But I do think they'll be very strategic about how they help him out. And quite honestly, the offensive line and Mason Cole, the first thing they could do is make a trade this, by the end of today and bring in a center. They're probably not going to do that. And so, therefore, the offensive line needs to play better because he can't keep sustaining these poor hits. And the referees need to call proper fouls when people are hit, not just on the Steelers' defense, but on the defensive players facing the Steelers. But anyway, good news for Steel fans out there. I'm really excited to see Kenny Pickett versus Wolves. Really excited to see Kenny Pickett on a Thursday night. I don't think we've heard anything about a color rush being brought out, but I would have loved to see it because I think the Titans color rush can look pretty cool most years with that light blue. But anyway, all we can do as Steel fans is cheer our Steelers on and say, go Steelers.